online gathering today. I was struck by your mission statement, reaching out to all with the gospel of Christ. This is at the heart of the work of CAP. So whilst our core service is helping people get out of debt, our ultimate desire is to share the love of Jesus. As a member of CAP's speaker team, I love nothing better than to visit churches to share about the life-transforming ministry of CAP. Sadly, of course, we can't meet in person. However, thank you for allowing me today to speak to you in your homes. Now, I've been involved in CAP for just over 4 years, running the debt centre in my community in Croydon South, and also helping establish a range of other CAP services which deal with some of the common root causes of debt. I've learned a lot. I've seen how isolated clients can often be, and hopefully I've become a little more empathetic about their struggles. I don't know about you, but I often think that the term unprecedented is overused. But certainly in my lifetime, what we're experiencing now is truly unique. I wonder how you have been impacted by lockdown and what you've learned during this time. I'd like to start this talk today by going back 2,000 years to the start of Jesus' ministry, an amazing 2 or 3 years that changed the course of history. And it had a very unconventional start. Jesus was led into the wilderness for 40 days. It was a significant event which we hear about in 3 of the 4 Gospels. Straight away after his baptism by John, Jesus went into the wilderness and fasted and was tempted by the devil. So there was something about those 40 days which had to happen before everything else could happen. Something had to be learned in the isolated wilderness. So how have these past few months been for you? Perhaps isolated wilderness is quite a good way in describing it. Perhaps you've been missing family and friends. I certainly know how my parents, who are both in their 90s, have felt during this time. Confused, frustrated, and missing companionship. Or perhaps you felt powerless in this situation, and we are in many ways, and longing for some light at the end of the tunnel. Perhaps you've had that experience of someone saying to you that they know how you feel, and you look into their eyes and you think, do you really? Do you really know how I feel? Here is what I see when I look at Jesus in the wilderness. I see a God that gets it. We see that he wasn't just content to know it as the one who created us, who invented emotions, who knitted us each together. Knowing Jesus, he chose to know through the reality of human experience. How incredible is that? That means that through Jesus, God has true empathy with us. When we know somebody who has empathy with us, it changes everything. Just maybe this lockdown time, this shared experience is teaching you and me greater empathy for the isolated. Today I want to talk to you about one group in particular. At CAP, we partner with churches to tackle poverty in their communities, and especially debt. So we're a little bit like a lifeboat station, giving churches the tools and training and expert support to launch out from the coast and rescue those who are caught in the storms of life. And last year we asked clients how they felt before seeking CAP's help. And their responses were quite shocking. Here is some of what they said. 7 in 10 felt isolated. 7 in 10 felt isolated. Over a third, 36%, were cut off from friends and family because they couldn't afford to travel. And 24% were not leaving their house for a week or more at a time. So 3 months of lockdown for us is hard enough. But for many people in debt, this is their daily reality, and has been for years on years. It's life on lockdown with no end in sight. And one lovely lady called Tina, who lives just a few miles away from your church at Gravesend, agreed to share her story with us. And we're going to watch the video now. And as we watch this, I invite you to let your lockdown experiences, your experiences of loneliness, or maybe a sense of freedom as restrictions started to lift, let those experiences help you to empathise with Tina's story.
My neighbours didn't know what situation I was in. To walk past the house, no, you wouldn't know. The only thing you think is, oh, that person keeps their curtains closed. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. The one thing I didn't want was to be judged. You put a front on to people. I won't have a cup of tea because I've only got a quarter of a pint of milk that's got to last me a week. You make excuses. Oh, the boiler's not working today, so I can't put the heating on, sorry. Oh, the bulbs are blown, sorry. I'd go around and take the bulbs out. My bedtime became sort of 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening because I couldn't read by the lights I had or do my cross stitch or anything like that. Collect the post once in a blue moon, big pile of letters, and we want this, we want this, we want this. You can't have it, there's just nothing left. You don't see an end. And as much as people tell you there's an end, there isn't. You're living, not day to day, I was living minute to minute. And the only answer I could see was, if I'm not on this earth, you can't get anything from me.
Poverty is in every community, often hidden behind closed doors. I know what it's like to not have enough to feed your children. I know what it's like to have to leave home. And that's why I started CAP 23 years ago. We offer award-winning debt counselling. Every one of our life transforming services is run in partnership with a local church just like yours. Whenever CAP partner with local churches, lives are transformed and poverty is relieved. Every year together, tens of thousands of lives are touched by the work of CAP and the local church. But most importantly, around 1,000 people choose to respond to Jesus. On her own, Tina had absolutely no chance of resolving her debt situation. But once the local church and CAP were on the scene, things began to change dramatically.
It was a relief when Ruth came round because for once it was someone that wanted to listen to me, that wasn't getting paid to listen to me. And I sobbed. I broke my heart. She then said, right, we're going to help you here. They will sort you a budget out that I can go shopping where I could open the post and just put it in an envelope and send it to Ruth or keep it for her next visit. Such a relief to be able to get up in the morning and open your blinds and your curtains and you see sunlight instead of a dark room. You know, and I remember going to church after I went debt-free. You right? Yep. I went debt-free the other day. Yeah, and you know, and everyone was genuinely pleased that I'd done it as well. And through the CAP journey, I started going to my local Baptist church, and it started restoring my faith. I got baptised, and it was like a piece of my wall that I put up came down, but also another weight got lifted with the support of my father and the support of the churches and the people around me. I can now start rebuilding my life.
What if Tina was your neighbour or your mother or your sister? Common reasons for debt include ill health, redundancy, and relationship breakdown. And especially right now, this is happening all across the country who didn't expect that it'd be happening to them. People being furloughed, made redundant, bills are getting harder to pay. And it's often much closer than we like to think to this sort of experience. For nearly 25 years now, CAP has been helping people break free from the prison of debt. And last year alone, we saw over 2,000 households go debt-free and 850 people invite Jesus into their lives or recommit their lives to him through working with CAP. Jesus, as he emerged from the wilderness, started his ministry by putting people like Tina at the heart of it. Stepping into the synagogue in his hometown of Nazareth, this is what he said, reading from Luke 4, verses 18 to 19. The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favour. As followers of Jesus at this time, emerging from lockdown, how can we do the same? How can we proclaim good news for the poor and proclaim the year of the Lord's favour? Now, it's easy to feel helpless, but we're not helpless. There are things that we can do. Firstly, we can remember. As lockdown lifts, the temptation is to forget about it. But if you do, you'll miss out. You'll miss out on the empathy that God is giving you for those who are isolated and lonely and feel forgotten. If you hold on to those memories that can lead you into love and practical action in the months and years ahead. Secondly, you can look around you. It's astonishing to think this, but for many of those in the prison of debt, the end of lockdown is a source of dread, a source of fear, because right now, all debt collection is on hold. Debt collectors are not allowed to visit to pursue the debts. But when lockdown starts to end and restrictions are eased, the constant phone calls and knocks on the door and endless demands of payment will start again. So, as we're breathing a sigh of relief, those trapped in debt, perhaps even our neighbours, could be locking the door and closing the curtains. Maybe your friendship forged with someone, one of your neighbours, over clapping for carers on a Thursday evening, maybe that friendship could be the lifeline that person needs. How could you keep in touch with them in the months to come? Or maybe that person who is struggling is you. However hard you try, the debts keep mounting up. And maybe you don't know where to turn. Well, let me give you a phone number. Our free phone number is 0800 328 0006. So make a choice today to call and take that first step towards freedom, or pass that number on to someone else who may need it. That number again, 0800 328 0006. Or maybe you know someone who's being made redundant at this time and could benefit from our CAP Job Club. And when lockdown is eased a little bit more, we will be resuming our life skills courses for people who need some help to manage on a low income. And also our Fresh Start courses for people who are struggling with life-controlling habits. And as money becomes more tight for many of us, there is our award-winning CAP Money course, which we've already made available online, which will help you get more control on your finances. You can find more details, including our brand new Kickstart initiative, at our website at www.capuk.org. Finally, as I draw to a close, let me extend an invitation to you. CAP is not an exclusive club. It's a nationwide movement of over 30,000 individuals like you and me who have a heart to see people like Tina set free from debt, to see them helped, the good news of Jesus shared, and lives transformed. And to do that through giving their time, their money, and prayer. Now, under normal circumstances where we'll be meeting in person, I would invite you to have a chat with me after the service. We had to do things differently. So let me encourage you to go to our website at www.capuk.org/respond116. That's a bit of a mouthful, so you can see it on the screen. That link will allow you either to set up a gift or find out more about how you can be involved in the CAP ministry. So you can see the link on the screen. Please go to that to find out more information. And do please remember that our heart is